It's just as important to know what you don't want as it is to know what you want. And what came through Pisces for you was, I don't want to do this. And there might be a decision in front of you here in the next week or two where your intuition clearly lights a path contrary to what's expected, demanded, or just what's in front of you. And I'd love for you to listen to your instincts, particularly since the Mercury retrograde is right around the corner. Always trust your inner guidance and articulate what it is that you want or need before you're ready to move forward. Also, everything that I'm looking at kind of flipped upside down for a moment. There could be some really rapid movements that are happening in your life, and it's kind of like the rug got pulled from underneath you, and you're catching your breath, getting your balance, figuring which end is up. It's really important in these moments to allow yourself time before moving on to the next thing. So some of you actually might be on a rebound, a relationship breakup, a job that's ended, maybe a living situation that wasn't ideal. Before you sign on the dotted line for the next thing, give yourself some space, because that's going to allow you to clear out your heart, clear out your head, and see all of the possibilities rather than the most convenient, the most available, or the easiest. Easy's good sometimes, but not if you're eliminating one of the possibilities just because you don't want to look. So give yourself time to see all of the options and then decide. In case you're new here, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. Yes, this is for the sign of Pisces. We're looking at the very end of the month. The reason it took a little bit longer is I had to move out of my old apartment, and next month, around this time, I'll be moving out of the country, so there's a lot of change going on with me. Thank you for being patient. Sometimes the schedule has to be flexible. We'll have all the readings out a lot sooner next month because I have to. So thank you anyway. Let's check in on Apollo, and then let's take a look and see what's coming through for you. All right, I'm gonna give him just a little gentle pat on the head because he's sleeping. Hey, buddy. Yes, you're such a good boy. Yes, I know, it's nap time for you. All right, close your eyes for a moment. See the sun shining above your head and imagine that this is connecting you to Source. We'll welcome in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. We're looking at past, present, and future to begin with, and then we'll look at some additional cards after that. All right, so the karmic or past energy coming through is the King of Pentacles in the reverse position. And this is Spirit saying many of you are finally taking care of yourself and prioritizing your own needs. In the upright position, this paternal energy often is a caretaker, a giver, a provider, but when it's reversed, it's saying, you know what, I need this, I want this, and it's creating that energy so that you can thrive. So don't be afraid to state your needs, your desires, and your boundaries. In areas of investment, you might also be cashing out money, moving investments around, finding a way to get yourself the abundance that you need. If you're around people that take more than they give, this is about equalizing the exchange and making sure that that doesn't continue, okay? And as we now take a look at the present energy, forgiveness is coming through, and this is a very different version of the Judgment card. Just for comparison, here's a more traditional illustration of judgment. We can take it at face value, which is casting judgment upon yourself or others, and that's where the forgiveness version of this really starts to make sense. It's hardest, oftentimes, to forgive ourselves. It's equally as difficult to forgive others. But when you can let go of the pain, the sort of beating up of yourself, then you allow for the healing to begin and you can elevate. And that's really what this is about. In the traditional Judgment card, the souls are rising up from the dead. We have an angel calling them into their next part of living, which in this is spirit, but in our own lives, it can just be a rebirth, a sort of figurative rebirth. Reinventing yourself, reimagining something. It's the flip side of the death card in many ways. It all begins with forgiveness. At the very least, look at the mistakes you've made in your life and see them in a new context. Remember that there is no failure as long as there is growth, and also there's an inability to move forward until you love and forgive yourself. With other people, it takes longer to forgive, but what you can do is to focus on other things. Don't give them the energy that is often associated with anger, frustration, vendettas, etc. There's a phoenix in this card, which also represents rising above what was maybe for other people or even yourself in the past, a seemingly insurmountable challenge, but you got through it and you're still surprising yourself and you still have the ability to rise up. But overcoming doubt, not casting harsh judgment upon yourself, that's one thing that you want to focus on. All right, this can also be disbelief. You've already made your mind up on something, but when you look at it, it's like, oh, I feel it here, I know it here, but in black and white, I'm not ready to say it or do it yet. So you might just be wrapping your head around something and really bringing something into fruition and into being that you've already decided on a soul level, okay? If there's a legal case going on right now, judgment in the reverse position is inviting you to make sure that you're looking at it from all angles. Maybe don't jump into it head first. Take your time. All right, as we look at the future here, we have the Three of Pentacles, busy bees, love it. I love the teamwork energy. There's always a team element to the Three of Pentacles. There's also recognition and knowledge expansion. This is a card of mastery. So apprenticeship is more like the Eight of Pentacles, but this is being able to master and really sink your teeth into something that you want to learn. So this is a great time for education. Also, this is the card of writing and communicating. So if there's something that you want to share with the world, you could put it into a proposal, a curriculum, a written story, like it can actually be fiction, or it can be technical writing, scientific proposal, there's so many different ways that this could go. For the engineers out there, you might be writing an app, but this is something of great value and great worth. See it, and then also work with your peers on this. You don't have to do it alone. This is a great time for that teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work, for sure. I'm inspired to pull the catalyst for you now. I've been doing it at different times for all the different signs, but right now I want to see how we can connect you to that Three of Pentacles. So let's pull a runic card here for this. Okay, so for some of you, you've been in this state of suppression and there's been delays. Wait until you meet the right person to kind of see your vision. Because if there is someone in your life that just doesn't want to move forward, they're not the best partner. They're not the best champion of that. This is a temporary delay. Think of it, if you will, as the Hanged Man. It's helping you connect to the right person. Some of you are going through a little bit of creative block right now, and know that this too shall pass. When it comes to the creative block, it's more of like the Eight of Swords, where if you think to yourself, it's not going to happen, I can't do this, or I'm blocked, you are. What you can do instead is say, why don't I try something different? Why don't I just put this over here and let it simmer for a second, let it thaw out? And I'll keep doing other things, and when I'm ready, when this is cooked, when it's done, I'll come back to it. A temporary delay. And when you start to know that it's not a permanent state of being, that's going to free you up. All right, now let's expand this and take a deeper dive into health, wealth, love, and destiny. Okay, we got two for destiny. Let's get started with your health card, which is the Empress in the reverse position. So for some of you, there's a person in your life. It can be a maternal person like a mom or an aunt or a teacher, but it can also just be a bossy person, literally your boss, or maybe a friend that likes to control things. What's going on here is that the connection is maybe a little bit too intense. They may have a hard time letting you be an adult, make your decisions. They want to come in and make it all better, or sometimes control the outcome. And it can be frustrating because it takes away independence and autonomy. So in these situations, creating firmer and consistent boundaries is going to be really important. Some of you are new moms, or you want to be a new parent. And for those of you that are in a non-traditional family where there's two dads, two moms, new parents, I should just say, this is a chance for you to decide if you're ready, because it takes a lot of responsibility and a lot of energy. So I see it as more of the deciding phase than the pregnancy phase, but some of you could be pregnant. I just see some ideas floating around expanding the family. And the most important piece of Empress energy reversed is taking control. and making decisions on your own. And for those of you that have been used to other people doing it for you, this card is coming through and reminding you that you should be the one at the helm, at the driver's seat, and saying, I want this or I don't want this. So make sure that you're speaking up at a doctor's appointment. Make sure that you have a say in your body and in your life in general. And again, boundaries are everything when we're looking at health and being healthy this month. Let's move on to wealth and see what Spirit has to say here. A little bit of stress management. Okay, so wealth comprises resources, life purpose, and career. But interestingly enough, we have an intersection here that's affecting your health. Some of you have too much stress in your life. If you're a student and in school, there might be too many classes that you're taking. If you're working a really stressful job, you're taking it home and it's affecting your home life, your sleep especially. And for anybody that might be looking at finances, maybe retired people or anybody in general, we're just seeing all these lists of things that could go wrong keeping you up at night. They may not actually go wrong. The Nine of Swords is a manageable card because we often just kind of go through this sea of, what about this, what about that, oh my gosh, how am I going to deal with this? And it really doesn't help you, it doesn't solve the problem, it just creates stress. Because we're looking at wealth, which again can be career, school, your money, talk to a counselor, a financial counselor, a counselor at school, a career counselor, or maybe a psychologist or psychiatrist. They can give you the tools to cope. In addition, they can give you the data and information that will help you make a better choice. Sometimes fear is just a lack of knowledge or experience, and once you get it, the fear dissolves. So this is a really good period as we're looking at wealth for mentorship and guidance. In jobs, there may just be too much on your plate. Boundaries, limits. That's what we were talking about here. This health card and wealth card are connected. There may be a boss or someone in your life that's asking for too much, and you don't know how to say no, but saying no is important. So find a way and maybe work with others, because we have this beautiful community card here, the Three of Pentacles, that sort of like community energy will also convey that it's not just you, it's other people that are stressed too. This is also a reminder that you can take your stressed thoughts and use them as like a chance to be alchemic. So if you think to yourself, what if everything goes wrong? Flip it. What if tomorrow's better than I think? What if it's amazing? What if this is a waste of time worrying? That's one way to get rid of it. Another way, like if you're worried about if you're deserving of something, like what if they figure out that I don't know what I'm doing? What if I'm ready? What if this is easy? What if it's a stepping stone to something bigger? Just turn it around and allow at least both sides of the coin to be in front of you. And then it diminishes the Nine of Swords. Maybe getting it to the Six of Swords so you can move on or you can go to sleep, or the Four of Swords so you can go to bed. So just play around with the thoughts of what if it works? Now, I mentioned earlier judgment. That many of you already know, I should or I shouldn't do something. I want you to listen to that when it comes to resources, money, and career. If something feels wrong, it probably is. If something seems like it's more of a headache than it's worth, it probably is. And because you have good judgment, all you have to do is listen to it. If you don't agree with someone or they don't agree with you, pick and choose your battles wisely. Of course, fight the fight that matters, but otherwise, there might be things that just create more stress than they're worth, okay? Eliminating, diffusing, and moving beyond the stress is super important, and I'm glad we touched upon that. All right, let's take a look at love. What's coming through in relationships? Four of Cups. A blessing in disguise, something that's unexpected. Also, a little bit of the grass is always greener. So she feels like the world is just sort of like putting a cloud over her. But typically with the Four of Cups, there's a blessing. I want to go to the traditional card on this one because it actually tells the story better. So one thing that you can do in all levels of relationship, and we'll break this down in just a moment, but is to ask yourself, is there something that I'm missing? Is there an easier way? Could this actually be advantageous? Because in this card, you'll see there's a hidden Ace of Cups. He's looking at the three in front of him. He's a little frustrated and he's missing something that can be celebrated, a big picture. All right, let's quickly check in on three different categories. If you're partnered right now, that stress could be taking you out of your ability to be there with the partner. And also, as we were talking about here with the Judgment card, you might be beating yourself up or you might be judging them unnecessarily. So just take a step back. And what I do love about this is one or both of you really want this to work out. It's just a matter of getting into the teamwork here. Work together rather than in opposition. And the way to get through that is just to say, okay, this didn't go the way we thought, but we can figure this out. And I think if you approach it in that way, you'll be okay. There might be someone in your life that's like kind of like cold or not opening up their heart space. For this, it's hard. You have to kind of convey the thought to them that I can't see what's going on inside. I need you to talk to me. And as long as the lines of communication are open, you're okay. If they're not, it's hard. It's hard to figure it out. And you shouldn't have to do it all on your own. And to that end, I would say, if you're kind of stuck, it might be time to talk to a counselor. But for the rest of you, just find a way to work together. Let's say, let's figure this out together. Teamwork makes the dream work. Okay, for those that are single and looking, can you find someone? Yes, but is it the best time? Probably not. Right now, I feel like there's already in your deep past an earth sign that wants to come through and assist you. But what I see is an opportunity to spend more time learning, expanding, forgiving, managing stress. And when love comes in, and it's not an if, it's a when, it's in an unexpected shape or form. And it doesn't even want to show up in the cards here. I will say there's a karmic energy to it where it feels like this is someone you're immediately at home and immediately drawn to. I think also there might be, this person's either fiercely independent or they are maybe already a parent. They have a lot going on in their lives. So when they meet with you, they want to make sure that you're also ready to hit the ground running. So I would say just pause a little bit. This month is almost up. We'll check in next month. But it feels like right now, the onus and the responsibility and the sort of focus is more on healing and personal development. And that kind of answers the single and happy question, which is it's a time to focus on just that. The biggest area of opportunity is in learning and creating something amazing with the Three of Pentacles. And being open to pleasant surprises in your life, because the Four of Cups can just be something that's coming out of left field, and you're so happy that you were able to pick up on it. All right, looking at destiny, you got two cards, and this is where Spirit wants us to focus a little bit. Five of Cups. It's necessary for you to grieve and release something before you can get to the good stuff, which is the world. And I mentioned that it felt like things were topsy-turvy. The world upside down is things changing faster than you thought. So grieve, release, recalibrate, and then embrace the bigger changes that want to come through. If we look at the original Five of Cups, which I'll pull while we're talking, what I like about it is the ability to kind of like have a bridge over the troubled water in your life. And then also there are two cups behind the main character. And that means that there's love, celebration, or friendship awaiting you. So there's the two cups. There's the cups that have spilled. He's letting a few tears be shed. But then in the background, we have that bridge to greener pastures. So things are just about ready to take off. And lo and behold, they're bigger than you imagine. So one of the other things that this particular Destiny card wants to tell you is create the mantra, all of this or greater, so that you can receive something beyond your wildest imagination. And you can add for my highest good. That way you're going to get an upgrade and it's going to knock your socks off in the best possible way. All right, let's look at a blessing and a block for this month before we move on to the final card. All right, blessings and blocks first. Blessing and block. Okay, so for the blessing, it's a good blessing. We have the Ten of Wands, completion. There's a task that's nearly done. Sometimes that final step is the hardest and it can feel a little overwhelming, so pace yourself. But things are about to come to a beneficial close. The other thing with the Ten of Wands is you don't have to do this all on your own, so delegate, share that burden, but finish what you've started. You're right there. You're nearly at the finish line, okay? It'll be almost more than you can sink your teeth into, just like we see with this cute dog. As for the block, using your voice, saying no. Also, you might be met with opposition, someone that challenges, denies, or questions you. but it's not the end of the road. It's not the end of the block. This is just one person that may lack imagination or buy-in. There's a lot of other people that are ready and willing to connect with you. So don't let one no take the wind out of your sails. Now let's take a look at a final question. This can be anything that you need guidance on. Just shift everything over a little bit, and we'll see what Spirit has to say. All right, we got the moon for this. For a yes or no question, this is saying there's still more to the story. The moon is asking you to look at your fears and anxieties and make sure that they're not coloring your decision or your opinion, to really sort out and vet out your alliances. So before you partner up with someone, and this is particularly in business, but anything that involves a contract, make sure that you know all aspects of who they are. Don't rush. And because we're about to get into a Mercury retrograde, maybe even wait until the end of next month to make your full decision on this. There might be someone that shows a side of themselves that you didn't expect. When someone shows their true character, believe them, and believe them on the first time so you don't have to keep repeating it. The moon is also illumination and manifestation. There's a little magic that can unveil itself right now and unfold if you believe. The only thing that could hold you back is fear or competition or someone that's acting a fool, and we don't need any of that. So for a yes or no, it's more nuanced. It's saying you need to do more research. It's not a hard no, but there might be some hidden details. And that has been a consistent thread I've read for 4 signs today, and I keep getting hit the pause button on the final card. So make sure that you've got all the information in front of you. And ultimately, trust your instincts. This is a card of instincts. They will not lead you astray. That, my friends, is everything. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, hit the like and subscribe, leave a comment below. You can also sign up for my newsletter. And from my website, by the way, you can learn more about me, like all of my official social media links are there. It's usually my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, on all platforms, but go to my website for official links. From there, you can also give back with PayPal, or you can book a private reading. And right here on YouTube, you can give back with super stickers, super chat, or with memberships. And that, my friends, is everything. Have a fantastic remainder of this month. The next set of readings will come out sooner. Like I said, I'll be traveling in about a month's time. Thank you for your patience. There'll be a lot of changes in the locations. That's part of the fun. All right, take care of yourselves and be well.